Now I'm doing. Hello there, this is Jesse Coffee, and now I'm going to do the tapes I have from the later years, the Cheesy Shield era, when they stopped using the little marker on their releases that indicated the category that the tape would be filed under. So this is Batman Returns, the earliest tape I have from this part of the era. Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, and Michelle Pfeiffer in it. Another huge movie horror. This was a tape from 1992? Late 1992, I think. There it is. Print date was August 18th. It was April 18th, 2001. And this is notable for having that awkward quirk at the beginning where it has the FBI warning, and then it cuts to a still photograph of the Warner Home Video logo before the film starts. That's a pretty odd occurrence. That's never really happened on any Warner tape since. Okay, here's a film that was Whitney Houston's first. He also co-starred Kevin Costner. And it's The Bodyguard, featuring the #1 hit single, I Will Always Love You, which was written by Dolly Parton, who donated all the proceeds, last year, one of the many good things that Dolly Parton did was last year, she donated all the proceeds from Whitney Houston's recording of the song, I Will Always Love You, to the black community at large. And thank God we have someone like Dolly Parton around. There it is. The tape, and the print date is September 2nd, 1993. And this tape has a promo for the soundtrack at the very end. And it was a pretty big soundtrack as well. Pretty big soundtrack of a pretty big film. There's another pretty big film that Warner released in 1992. In fact, it won Best Picture that year. It's Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven. Co-starring Gene Hackman, Morgan Freeman, and Richard Harris. Tape from 1993. Pretty tough tape to get out of the case. Unless you do it. That way you heard off camera. For a moment I thought that the Warner Home Video logo had been printed in a different font here. And the print date is March 2nd, 1994. And here's another one. Somersby, with Richard Gere and Jodie Foster. Another Warner tape from 1993. Oh, also is from 1993. Formerly the property of Army Helmers in Klamath Falls, Oregon. Here's the tape. And the print date is February 2nd, 1994. And if you look pretty closely in the print date area, you can see some bright up markings for something that was printed on September 8th of 1992. They're still visible. So this tells me this was taped over an MGM UA cassette. Warner was the distributor of MGM UA tapes during the 90s, which is why some of the MGM UA tapes have the WHB sticker on the side. Well, some of the tapes from that era, anyway. Here's an interesting scenario. Now, before I got the actual release of the Singapore, Washington, I had a screen copy of it. There are two copies that I lay out for you. This is the promotional. This is the full-length screen copy over there to the left. That's the actual release. I uploaded the openings to both of them. And their screen copies usually say on the side, full screen copy only, for trade use only, not for sale, rental, or public exhibition. And they repeat that on the other side. Let's look at what this has. It's the compelling flip side to movies like The Fisher King and Down and Out in Beverly Hills. Two popular stars in two critically acclaimed roles, Matt Dillon and Danny Glover. Dillon, let's look at this credits. Now in theaters in Golden Gate. Lethal Weapon trio. Colored Purple, Silverado Witness. How many people remember the film Golden Gate, by the way? It says national major market theatrical release that critics everywhere raving. Critics from WNYW Radio, Newsday, and 60 Second Preview in particular. Jeff Craig, who was quoted on tons of movies and yet remains very little known. Or heard from. A reliable Warner retail support, including post-trade radio and TV ads, which were on ABC, CBS, NBC, A&E, and CNN, which seems like a strange place to advertise a VHS tape. There's the profit power thing there. 2.5 million men to rent and support. 60-day pay-per-view window. Cross-promoted on Mr. Wonderful, Fearless, and M. Butterfly cassettes and standees. And I'll show you the tape inside. You have the word screen copy, not for sale or rental. These demo tapes, these screen copies were usually always use these white labels that just had the logo, then the text screening copy, and then below it, not for sale or rental. And they stop there. Manufacturing date is December 18th, 1993, and print date is February 11th, 1994. That's the full-length screening copy of the Singapore, Washington. And now for the actual release of the film. Notice that the title is up here and not down there. This came out in March 1994 on VHS. There's the tape itself. And a nice little homemade end label there. And the print date is March 30th, 1994. Now, in early 1993, Warner resurrected the family entertainment. Warner resurrected the clamshells and just used them for titles. Mainly for titles. that were released under the Warner Brothers Family Entertainment name, which was introduced in the same year. It's one of the first post-Big W Warner clamshells. It's Dennis the Menace. This one has an ad for Crush Orange Soda at the beginning. Rather amusing one at that. And the printing on here, well, it's very faint. Done the same style as MGMUA tapes. And this one is printed on September 21st, 1993. I was trying to read that for a bit and I couldn't do it under that bright light. Hopefully you'll be able to see it a little bit better now. Here's the first of probably the most profitable franchise under Warner Brothers Family Entertainment. This is Free Willy. The theme song performed by Michael Jackson, of course. This was released in November of 1993 on VHS. Print date is October 26, 1993. Right here. This is Batman Mask of the Phantasm, released April 25th, I think, of 1994. This is a movie that was scheduled to be released direct to video, went to theaters instead, got widely acclaimed, but it bombed. And then it was released to video as intended in April of 1994. This one came with a nice set of coupons, saving $3 from Payless Shoe Store and Payless Kids. Neither of those things exist anymore, I don't think. And great offer awaits you behind this mask with this mail-in rebate offer. Buy Batman Mask the Phantasm and receive one of these 5 fantastic movies and receive a $5 rebate by mail. It's no joke! So we have the first 2 Batman movies, Batman Returns, Dennis the Menace, Free Willy. Of these, the only one I need to get now is The Secret Garden. The Warner Brothers tape of it. Alright, now for the tape itself, which I think has a preview for Thumbelina at the beginning. Don Bluth's iteration of Thumbelina at the beginning. Which wasn't a hit either. Either with critics or with audiences that time. Print date is March 21st, 1994. Now here's a big box office hit from the holiday season of 1993. That was on Warner Home Video. Big one. It was called Grumpy Old Men. Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau, and Van Margaret are in this film. This is the, one of the original printings. There was a copy that I have previews, and this one doesn't. It was printed on October 10th, 1994. Neither of the two tapes I have of this movie have previews at the beginning. And why don't we hear it for this other copy, which has the Cheesy Shield label and it has the Cheesy Shield logo at the beginning. It was printed on February 28th, 1997. Another big movie released by Warner in 93. This is The Fugitive with Harrison Ford. This one has a 7 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture. There's a $5 rebate offer when you buy it, and tapes of The Bodyguard, Dennis the Menace, Free Willy, Lethal Weapon 3, Passenger 57, The Secret Garden, Under Siege, and Unforgiven. None of those this tape has previews for none of those, or for any other tape. From where? And the print date is February 20th, 1994. This came out on in March of 1994 on VHS, I think. Here's Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, featuring additional footage not seen theatrically. It's denoted there. This is a tape from 1994. Another Morgan Creek movie. Probably the most successful. Most successful movie Morgan Creek ever did. And the print date on here is April 22nd, 1994. Huge hit movie for Morgan Creek and Warner back in 94. And one of 3 star-making movies for Jim Carrey that were released in 94. The others were The Mask and Dumb and Dumber. Here's a childhood classic right here. Animaniacs. And this volume is titled The Waters Escape. And there were 2 other volumes, I think, of the Animaniacs that were issued on VHS. I want to get those somewhere down the line. Print date is August 9th, 1994. Here's another tape of Maverick. Richard Donner film. Mel Gibson, Jodie Foster, and James Garner. And this is the Century Collection tape. Muchly pretty, obviously. Manufacturing date is August 2nd, 2002, and print date is August 9th, 2002. So this is obviously much later printing. And it has the Century Collection promo at the beginning, I think. Here's a tape with another interesting opening on it, but we'll get to that later. I think. First off, I'll look at the UPC codes and see where they fall. There's Free Willy 2, The Adventure Home. With the, of course, the sequel to the Whaler hit that Warner had back in '93. Inevitable sequel, that. Print date on here is November 29, 1995. Here's Batman Forever. Nicole Kidman, Chris O'Donnell, Val Kilmer, Tommy Lee Jones, and Jim Carrey. Of course. New cast and a new director. This time it was the late Joel Schumacher, who also did The Lost Boys. He would also go on to do Batman Forever. No, Batman and Robin, which I heard was a complete turkey. I'm going to stay away from that if I can. Print date is September 10th, 1995. Here's A Streetcar Named Desire, the original director's version. Neelia Kazan production, produced by Charles King Feldman. Legendary film from 1950. This is the director's cut of it. 1996 this tape is from. And I mentioned earlier they were slow to change their logos, debuting their newer ones in print before they used them on the actual tapes. In this case, the Warning Shield. Print date is March 13, 1997. All right, here's a Little Princess. Tape from 1995. It says the best reviewed movie of the year. That is until Toy Story. Note. This film was widely acclaimed when it came out in early 1995, but it bombed at the box office. Then it was reissued a little after the summer, and it bombed again. And history would repeat itself with Morbius, albeit with less acclaim. And more memes. Printed on August 1st, 1995. Here's grumpier old men, still yelling, still fighting, still ready for love. Inevitable sequel to Grumpy Old Men. Well, someone paid a hefty $139.88 for that one, if that is the price. I believe it was priced much lower than that when it came out. Here's the tape. And the print date on here is May 20th, 1996. I think this came out during the summer of 1996 on VHS. Another summer 96 Warner tape, The Executive Decision. With Kurt Russell. Here's the tape. Print date was July 21st, 1996. There's a Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen tape. The first visit from them in this collection video. They had a huge deal with Warner back in the 90s. And this is How the West Was Spun. Released a lot of tapes to Warner. Coming off their success with Full House, which Warner owned. The television show. Printed on July 5th, 1996. Here's a nice tape with an interesting trailer reel. Interesting for the fact that it has Kids WB promos on it. Among other things, this has Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the 25th anniversary edition. And the first release under the Family Entertainment name. Well, actually, the second. The first was in 1994. All-time classic. And the print date on here is November 6, 1996. And the final tape I have of the Cheesy Shield era is Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Very good action thriller. a good action thriller from 1996. This is the second pressing of this one. The original, I think, was all previews. This is the second printing of it, which has an ad for DVD at the beginning. Warner was one of the big initial backers of DVD in existence. Another one was Sony. And, they were promoting Toshiba's DVD players on there specifically. And the print date is July 5th. The print date is June 5th, 1997. This is a later printing, which has no previews, and it has the boring shield at the beginning. And this one was printed on May 23rd, 2001. Alright, and I'll wrap this up in the last part.